Hello and welcome to part 2 of using lists in Python. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've defined three lists. The first list includes a couple of strings and a number. The second list includes four numbers. And the final list words includes four strings. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to go ahead and walk through some of the functions and methods that are available in Python that you can go ahead and use on lists. So the first one is the Len function. So basically what that does is you would just go ahead and specify your list in parentheses, and what that does is it returns the size of your list. So in this case it'll go ahead and return 4 since there's 4 items in our words list. The next one is the max. So what that'll do is when you have a list, it'll go ahead, in this case our list of nums, it'll go ahead and return the maximum value, which is 10. There is a min function, and it'll go ahead and return the minimum value in a list. So that'll go ahead and return 4. The one thing, let me just go ahead and run max on my words, and that'll go ahead and return the item that actually is in alphabetical order, the lowest or the maximum item in the list in alphabetical order, and the min will go ahead and, let's see here, it should return the bacon, which is the first one in alphabetical order. Let me just go ahead. The next one is the sum, and I will go ahead and sum up my numbers. So that way you can go ahead and sum up the items in a list. The next one is actually a method. So a method is actually called on a specific list. So in order to use a method, you would specify the name of the list, dot, and then the method that you're calling. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and get the index of the number 5 in our nums list. So it's found at index number 0, at index spot 0. When there's duplicates in the list, the index method will return the first the location where it finds it first in the list, starting from 0. So the next item I'm going to do is I'm going to call in another function, which is method, which is count, and what that does is it counts the number of occurrences of 5 in our list. The next one we're going to look at is the reverse. So we'll just words reverse, and what I need to do is I actually need to include the opening and closing parentheses, and then now if I go ahead and specify my words, the words have been reversed in my list. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to call the clear method, and what happens here, if you have not already figured that out, it just clears the items from the list and it returns the empty list. So like a string, there is an empty list, and what that is just the opening and closing square brackets with nothing in it. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to call the append method. So we're going to append first. We're going to append 7. So what that should do, that should append 7 to the end of my list. So if I check it out, nums, it has appended 7 to the end of the list. And then the other way, you can go ahead and extend your list. So when I'm doing this, what I am going to be doing is I'm going to be adding more than one value to my list of nums. So if I go ahead and type in nums, what I've done is I've added both 1 and 2 to the end of my list. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to delete an item from the list. So we're going to delete whatever words from words whatever item is found at index -1. So if we go the last time we looked at words, it should be deleting spam here. So we'll type in words, and now we no longer have spam in our list. The next thing, you can go ahead and remove items. So if I type in nums remove by calling the remove method and passing in the value I want to remove, and then if I go ahead and type that in, what it does, it's similar to the index. It'll find the first occurrence of that number and it'll remove it, but it will not remove all occurrences of that number. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to call the insert method, and basically what this is going to do, it's going to insert the word wink at position 1 in my list. So if we go ahead and specify it now, wink is at position 1, bacon has been moved to position 2, and eggs has been moved to position 3. The next thing you can do is you can go ahead and you can concatenate two lists by using the plus sign. So that's what I'm going to do next. So let me just go ahead and concatenate A and 1 with 2 and B. And if I go ahead and hit enter, now I have a list that contains both of those lists. So it's added the two lists together. And then you could do a repetition, say 1, 2, 3. And what I can do here is I can use the multiplication sign and times 3. So what this will do is it'll create a list with 1, 2, 3 in it 3 times. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and talk about in and not in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a new list. We're going to call it cats. And I am going to add 4 cats to the list. And if I go ahead and specify cats, now you can use the in to check to see if a specific item value is in the list. So all you would do is just specify the value you're looking for and then specify in cats, and what that'll return is either a true or a false. So let me see. We'll check to see if Percy is in cats. It is not, so he is not, so it'll return false. We'll check to see if Momo is not in cats. So what it'll do is if Momo's not in cats, it'll return true, and then finally if we do a not in where the item is actually in the list, it'll return false for us. The other thing that you can do is you can change values with the index. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go ahead and set cats at index 1 equals to Kittywoo. So now if I display cats, Fritz should no longer be in the list. So Fritz has been replaced with Kittywoo since Fritz was at position number 1. And then if I go ahead and set cats 2 equal to cats 1, then what should happen is Kittywoo should appear in the list twice. Once at position 1 and the next time at position 2. So now he appears in the list twice, and if I wanted to change the last item in the list, cats minus 1 will equal Jinxer. And what that does is it'll replace Cheeto with Jinxer in my list. So what we're going to go through next is the sort method and how you can sort values in a list with the sort method. So in order to do that, I am going to create a new list here. We'll have 7, a list of numbers, -5, minus 0.1, we'll have 0.1, and then we will have 0. So let me just verify that list exists. Then I will do a sort on it by calling the sort method. And what will happen now is it'll go ahead and it'll sort the array in place. So what it does is now eggs has been sorted starting with -5, -0.1, 0, 0.1, and 7. You can go ahead and let me copy my cats down here, and I will call the sort on cats again. So we'll go ahead and sort our cats array, our cats lists, and it'll have Cheeto, Fritz, Jack, and Spitzy. And then you can also pass true for the reverse keyword argument to have sort the values in reverse order. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-enter my cats and hit enter, and I will just go ahead and display that to make sure that it has not been sorted. And now if I want to sort it in reverse order, I could just go ahead and pass in reverse equals true, and now I should have my lists sorted in descending alphabetical order. So there are 3 things you should note about the sort method. First, the sort method sorts the list in place. Don't try to capture the return value by writing code like the following. So we want to go ahead and we want to sort cats, save cats in cats after it's been sorted. So if I do that and I go ahead and type in cats, basically nothing appears. If I go ahead and try to print the values in cats, there's none in there. So basically that's wiped out our cats if you tried to save the sorted list to a new variable. The second thing is you cannot sort lists that have both number values and string values in there, since Python doesn't know how to compare these values. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new list here. And let me add some white space. So we're going to add 8, 6, 7, 3, and then we'll add Jackie and Becky. And then we'll, let me see here. Oh, I'm missing the end, my closing quote. So let me go ahead and add that, hit enter, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and sort that. Spam.sort. And what we get here is that we get an error. It's not supported between instances of string and int. So basically what they're telling you is that you cannot compare a string and an int. Okay, third thing is that the sort method uses ASCII bitical order rather than actual alphabetical order for sorting strings. This means uppercase letters come before lowercase letters. Therefore, the lowercase a is sorted so that it comes after the uppercase z. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and create one last list here. And we will add in Andy, Ants, Bert, Badger, and Carol, and cat. Okay, so we'll do a spam on that, print it out, so there it is. Now we'll do a sort on it. And we will print it out. So as you can see, all the uppercase come before the lowercase. What I want to do here is I want to go ahead and update that. I wanted a lowercase b for Badger, so we'll hit enter, and then we'll do a spam sort, call the sort method, and then we'll display the information. So as you can see, we have Andy, Badger, Bert, Carol, ants, and cat. Oh, let me see here. Why did that not? Oh, I know why it did not. Spam equals. There we go. So let me put in my lowercase. And then we will do a spam sort. And then we will go ahead and print that out. So as you can see, we have all our uppercase ABC and then our lowercase ABCs. If you need to sort the values in regular alphabetical order, you can pass the str.lower for the keyword argument in the sort method call. What that does is it causes the sort method to treat all the items in the list as if they were lowercase without actually changing the values in the list. So we would just go ahead spam sort, and then we would set our key equal to str lower, and we'll hit enter, and then we'll display the list. So now it's gone in and it's sorted it in alphabetical order without taking into consideration the case of it. So that's what I wanted to cover in video number 2. So in video number 3, I'm going to walk through a program that uses a list.